What's up, everybody? It's Leo and Josh back again with another video, man. Today we're going to be talking about why we are not worried about the Texans offensive line in 2025. As everybody knows, we struggled mightily in terms of everything when it comes to blocking in 2024. And we made a lot of different changes, man. And the first one, probably the biggest one, was the change at OC and the change at offensive line coach, man. Josh, man, what are you thinking about that? How do you think that's going to change and affect us going forward, bro?
I mean, I don't really have to guess too much. You can kind of take it right out of D'Amico's mouth, right? He said fewer coaches, fewer voices. You no longer have Strausser and Popovich. You got Popovich running the show. You got fewer coaches, fewer voices in the offensive line room. Will help last year's issues, and those big issues were messaging. And this is all from D'Amico. You don't have to trust me. You don't have to believe my dumbass, right? Like, you could go out and he says messaging was an issue and being on the same page. And I think when you have a clear perspective, a clear vision, and you bring in guys that are willing to work together and are less about me and more about team, I think you have that big team now moving forward, and you can kind of build it up and move it forward. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that they're going to fix with the coaching.
Yeah, man, and perfect, man. So think about this, bro. Laramie Tunsil, Shaq Mason are gone. Two guys that, from all accounts, I mean, some off the record accounts, man, a lot of guys did not, hold themselves as accountable as, I'm trying to be nice here. Man, screw it. They didn't hold themselves accountable. Nobody in the offensive line hold themselves accountable. It's his fault. It's the rookie's fault. It's gone now. You know what I mean? So, which leads me to this. CJ Stroud faced more unblocked pressures than any quarterback in the NFL last year. That's not a talent issue. That's a communication issue. That's an accountability issue. And a lot of these guys that were part of that problem are gone now. And I think that is the biggest step forward, is that the guys that were part of the issue and the ethos and the feel and a lot of these, and these were veteran leaders. They're gone now. Coaches, we had a offensive line coach that was contemplating retirement. He is gone. We have kicked him to the moon. There's no more guys that, there's no more me guys here or guys that are concerned about their future over the success of this team. And that's done, man. So I'm super happy about that. I think that if you take away a lot of the free runners at CJ Stroud, this offensive line, it might not have been good, but it would have probably been average. So that is the biggest thing for me, honestly. And I'm happy, man. Like, bro, I kind of want to just jump up and dance, but we're not about to do that here today. So, man, Josh, man, anything you got to say about cohesiveness and, Strausser being gone, if that is whatever his name is? I mean, screw him. I'm just glad he's gone, man. He's gone. It's almost like he has risen, but he is gone. Sorry. I'm having a moment over here. Happy Mother's Day. Anyway, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm 100% on board with what you're saying, man. I think it's a situation where they came back and they said, all right, what has really made great offensive lines great, right? Like, how has it worked throughout the history of New England, McVay, Shanahan, all these great teams? They didn't have these individual superstars that were trying to pull everyone along. It was a group of guys working together. And you don't have to take me for, the expert, right? Ask D'Amico. And he specifically came out and said about the 5 guys and cohesion and everyone working together. He says, we have a good core of young guys, added some veterans. With the mix of guys, our messaging to everyone is that let's see who's the best 5 guys out there. And then he goes on to yell about competition. And doesn't that sound familiar to what we talked about with the D-line previously? So I think all that tying together now will allow us to now get clear evals moving forward of how good these players really are. Because before we weren't able, and we saw it with Scruggs kind of move positions and started to play better when shit was less chaotic. And I think that's what we're going to see moving forward. Better evals, and we can really see how good Titus, how good Fisher, all these different players are moving.
Yeah, and before we move on, Patriots connections, man. Kaylee is a former Patriot. Our new O-line coach is a former Patriot. So I think that, the structure and discipline and all that stuff, they should look pretty much eye to eye on a lot of things, man. And
I was gonna say, with your Patriots connections, it's not a surprise. They brought in Trent Brown, who was with the Patriots over and over and over again. He was with Dante Scarnecchia over and over, and they just picked up Andrews off of waiver wires, who's another Patriots guy that has all the experience. But I just wanted to add that in real quick.
For sure, man. So let's talk about overall pass protection. Now, we have already hammered in, that there was just too many free rushers at our quarterback. It was hard to watch at times. The Packers game was just insane to watch. It was almost unwatchable football, and the fact that we almost won that game really shows how talented our team was and how close we could have been to actually being a real Super Bowl contender last year. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about the problems they have left. In this regard, Shaq Mason, Kenyon Green, guys that really, really did not look like NFL players last year. They are upgrades by subtraction. Josh, man, what are you thinking? How do we upgrade from there? I know obviously Titus Howard is probably moving to left guard. We added a bunch of interior linemen that possibly can fill the spot that Shaq Mason leaves at right guard, man. What do you think about all this?
Yeah, I mean, people got really excited in the playoff game about us running the ball like we did and against the Chiefs, and had those moments against the Chargers, and then when Shaq Mason came in with the Chiefs and all that, I think that was less about like, this is something we're leveling up to. This is something we had to do, because Shaq Mason was such an issue in pass pro in that game, and he was just getting spun around like a top. Like, he was basically already mentally in Cancun by the end of that game, right? He was ready to retire. He was ready to move past it. And I think what you have now is you look at what D'Amico said. Once again, don't trust me, trust D'Amico. He talked about his vision for offensive linemen, and the first thing he brought up was pass protection. Which defensive players and guys who build these attacking defenses talk about pass protection right now? They usually say run game this, run game that. But he didn't stop there. Then he went on, and this is something that can be transferred only in the run game, which we'll talk about in a segment, in pass pro as well. You got to have grit. You got to have toughness. You got to have nastiness. You got to have guys that are passionate about football. These are all things from that quote, and it comes down to that to really build the perfect offensive lineman, the thing that they want to build around moving forward. And this is something I think they have moving forward now. Guys that are in there working with the me, not the team, for the team, not the me, my bad. But I'm excited to see how that kind of works together. There's a lot of me teams flying around in my head. But yeah, man, I love it, man. I'm excited to see what this new iteration, what this Nick Caley masterpiece looks like.
Yeah, so 100%, man. Screw it, man. We talked about this off record. We're trimming the fat. They trimmed a lot of fat around this team, man. And so let's move forward to like really one of the most disgusting parts of the Texans offense last year. One of the most egregious parts of the Texans offense last year, man. You have a running back like Joe Mixon, and when you play playoff caliber defenses, sometimes he goes non-existent because we're just getting pause. Like, there's a lot of penetration. There's penetration from the defense against our offense. The other team is in our backfield, and Joe Mixon, a no-nonsense running back like Joe Mixon, is averaging less than 1 yard a carry in a couple of these games, man. Completely disgusting. I can't even think of the terminology I really want to use, or we might get our whole channel taken down here. But it was bad, I mean, bottom 2 in the NFL in success rate, run success rate. Bottom 2 in the NFL in run efficiency rate. Josh, just take it from here, man. Like, what the hell was going on?
It was an absolute catastrophic failure. I can't even say the word. I'm so pissed off about it. Because watching over and over again, you got a talent like Joe Mixon out there, and you're not able to take advantage of it. They weren't able to do it until they brought in a center that can't even run block on his own, right? The guy they brought in, and they had to move a center over to right guard. That's how you know how bad the communication was. That was what the solution was, to move Blake Fisher, a guy who never played on the right side until he started on the right side, like he did in college, but in the pros is a whole different thing, because he had that one game in Buffalo, but that doesn't really count. That was like survive and advance kind of thing. But you do that, you're now pulling the roots out. This is the guy that was the baseline of everything with Shaq Mason the last 2 years, and how we're able to survive and this and that. We're yanking that out. We're yanking out Laramie Tunsil, who flashed at times in the run game, but wasn't really consistent mentality guy. And I think what you do is you bring in a Cam Robinson who's big, physical, nasty. He can just lean on you. He's decent, you know, in pass pro. He was good in Jacksonville. That'll be fine. But in the run game, you get big there. You get big there with Trent Brown. If he goes out, if Trent Brown can step up, you get Ariante Ursary, who's big as shit, and he's fast, and he's knocking people on their ass. I mean, that could be a bar, you know. So then moving forward, you got Laken Tomlinson, who's played with the best with Trent Williams. He knows what good offensive line works. We got him for cheap because that Seattle offensive line was subpar at best. We'll leave it at that. We'll try to keep it nice for our Seattle Seahawks fans. They know how bad it was. And then you get Ed Ingram, who's going out there literally trying to put people in the dirt and trying to just kind of reintroduce them to the ground and kind of do whatever he wants to do with them. And there's bad things with him, but you got, again, a cheap value for him. So you put all that together, and it just comes back to that. The run game, the skills are there. They got these ancillary pieces around it, and we'll talk about it with Jalen Knowles run blocking and some of the tight ends, Luke Lachey and guys. We'll do videos later with those things, but I'm excited moving forward, like how the run game is adjusted, and the fact that is important. The last thing I'll say, Nick Caley was specifically brought in by the wonder kid McVay to fix this run game, and he did it over and just reinvented the whole thing. Him and Ryan Wendell came in from New England. Got to get the man's name right. They came in, they fixed everything, and that's why you're seeing the resurgence with the Rams. I think you can have a similar resurgence with the Texans moving forward in the run game.
100%, man. So listen, that's 3 things that we covered that we think 100% should be better. Not only did we change coaches, we added different players. Like, listen, you don't have to go out and spend 3 first-round picks to fix your offensive line. Go and look at some of your favorite offensive lines throughout the history of the NFL and tell me what they spent and how they played. You know, it's a unit. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the individuals. It's about how they play as a unit, man. Josh, you got any last words, man, on this?
No, man, I'm gassed up. Best 5. I know people should start holding the comments. We want to hear what your best 5 is, how we get the best 5 players out there, who you guys really excited about and all that. I'm just geeked to see like Blake Fisher being able to really go and tear people's faces off. I'm seeing Cam Robinson going there. He's a big old country boy from Louisiana. I'm geeked about that. Ed Ingram's an absolute dude. I think he's from Houston originally, or maybe Dallas. I think he was DeSoto. That's probably blasphemous. Sorry, mixing that up. But I mean, I'm excited to see some of the real like what a kneecap. Glass chewers. Yeah, whatever we're chewing on.
Swarmers,
right?
Man. Swarmers.
Yeah, right.
This is Houston.
It just doesn't sound as, swarm is cool, but I like the visual of chewing on glass and chewing on kneecaps. But, man, I'm excited moving forward to see this shift and finally see a team that's fully built in the ethos of DeMeco Ryans.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all like, sub, and share. We got more content coming from y'all. Peace, y'all.